Good evening and welcome. My name is Anne. Over the past week, I've been reflecting on the world of nature, how beautiful it can be, and how it can help people connect with God. The Bible is full of images taken from nature. Birds, animals, wind, fire, plants, the list goes on. For the past 2 days, my focus has been on trees, in particular trees of righteousness. And I'd like to stick with that imagery for just a wee bit longer. The farm on which my husband Dale grew up is in northwest Tasmania. Many years ago, Dale and I went up to the farm from Hobart in the south, where we live, and we went for a walk along a creek not far from the farmhouse. There we found little tiny blackwood seedlings. Later we went on a walk further afield and found eucalypt seedlings. We dug up very carefully these seedlings and also filled some bags with soil from the creek, a mixture of rich red soil and leaf litter. Just this kind of thing little baby plants need. When we got back to Hobart, Dale potted the seedlings, and before very long, a whole heap of new and other blackwoods started sprouting. So we'd brought back not only the seedlings, we'd brought back seeds as well. And when they were ready, we planted them along our boundary fence. At the time, we had absolutely no trees on our block. This summer, I looked at those trees, and while they're not yet fully mature, they are looking healthy and beautiful. They've transformed our bare paddock. They serve as a windbreak. They offer shade to the local wallabies that are on our property. They have become a place where many different birds will alight on the branches and sometimes eat seeds. And they've also become a place when they're flowering where the native bees can come and source nectar. We had taken seeds and seedlings from their birthing habitat to a very different environment, from that nutrient-rich red soil to a black clay soil, to no creek, a place with no canopy, with no mature trees nearby to help shelter them as they grew. Rather than the random plantings near the creek, these transplanted trees were in a well-ordered row and regularly watered by a pipe and dripper system instead. Those trees are thriving on our boundary fence, and to me they're like a parable of God's kingdom of heaven and the trees he plants in his kingdom. As I said yesterday, when you and I follow Jesus' teaching and do life God's way, we become trees of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendour. Many trees of righteousness remain where their seeds first fell, or where they first took root as offshoots from a larger parent plant. They become established and grow into mature, strong trees that help their part of the kingdom remain healthy and growing. But sometimes God transplants his trees of righteousness to very different environments and circumstances from the nursery that birthed them. They become isolated from the trees that were near them at the beginning. Sometimes they get exposed to difficulties they would not experience had they stayed in the place from which they've come. Sometimes they, when they're transplanted, they get opportunities to thrive in ways they could never have done if they'd stayed where they were. Wherever God plants his trees of righteousness, you and I, he makes sure that they and that we have the water of life, that his trees of righteousness have water, whether it comes from a pipe and dripper system or a stream or maybe a daily drenching in mist and rain as on a mountain. I think back over my life and I know that he has transplanted me more than once, and he has always given me the nourishment that I've needed to grow in whatever circumstances I've been planted. He's given me the support I've needed to help adapt to my changing circumstances and face the challenges and take advantage of the opportunities to grow in my faith. Some of these places are from Papua New Guinea to Tassie, from Tassie to Scotland and back to Tassie, and then from here to Saudi Arabia and back. Very different kinds of places. And I've learned that in each, my roots can grow deep in his love and grace, no matter what. Maybe you have just moved from somewhere to a different place and you're feeling unsettled. Maybe you are about to go somewhere and you're feeling anxious about the move and what things are going to be like. Perhaps you've been bruised and traumatized by a previous transplanting. Or maybe you are where you were first planted, or have been planted for a long time. But the circumstances, the things that are going on around you, have drastically changed. No matter where God plants or transplants you, no matter your circumstances, you can put your hope and trust in God. He knows your situation and he will supply your needs, all of them. He will also use you right where you are, no matter how ordinary you think your circumstances are. He will use you to display his love and grace and his splendour. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.